I was browsing Reddit, as I often do. Most of you know I'm flipping through Reddit all the time. When I come across Political Compass memes, I'm a fan. They've got 533,000 members. And I see this. It says, Canada, what have you done? And it shows Vosh's tweet. For those that are familiar, Vosh is a socialist YouTuber. And then it says Tim Pool retweeted. And I'm like, I don't understand. What is this? And I look down and they have a Stone Toss comic. In the first panel, it shows me, which they call me libertarian right, and Vosh, a leftist. And he reaches out his hand, we shake hands, and then we look over at Trudeau, who looks like some kind of hunchback goblin or whatever. But the comments are then filled with people saying Tim Pool is lib center, not lib right. But I think it's funny. Vosh tweeted, Trudeau explaining to his people how revocation of citizenship is the only way to protect Canada from the striking Dairy Queen workers. And it's a really good tweet.
That's hilarious.
And then it shows the Ingsoc 1984, Big Brother, all that stuff. And I thought it was a fantastic tweet from Vosh. And so I retweeted it. And I was like, yeah, right on. And then he makes a bunch of other points following up on that thread where he's like, how are you all not getting it? That if they can freeze your bank without a court order, if you ever stage a general strike or try and stand up against these big corporations or the power of government, they will freeze you out. I find that really funny. As much as I agree with Vosh in that point, I'm like, dude, the vaccine mandates are worse than that. Yeah. The vaccine mandates are like, we can take away your money. And you're like, fine, I'll go, I'll figure out another way to make money. But the vaccine mandates are, you can't enter any of these buildings unless you inject this into your body. You have no bodily autonomy. Right. Yo, if someone came to me and said, you have two choices. We can take away your bodily autonomy and inject things into you against your will, or you can't use a bank. I'd be like, yo, I'll figure out something else.
I won't
I got
use a
Bitcoin,
bank. Yeah.
I got crypto.
Yeah.
I'll barter. I'll whittle a sailboat on a piece of wood and trade it to someone in exchange for a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
But if it's a vax mandate, you can't even go inside the building to try and trade your little wooden sailboat. So I don't understand how all of a sudden Vosh is like, this is the line for me. You can't take my money. It's like, but you're okay with them injecting people against their will? Well, look, at least on the one thing we can agree. So I will say the meme is great, showing that whatever different factions we have here, everybody is unhappy with Trudeau and thinks it's really, really bad. I will add, though, the responses to Vosh's tweet, you got a lot of people on the left who are like, you're wrong on this. It's good what he's doing.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, just pull up any one of Justin Trudeau's most recent, cycle of deranged tweets. Check out those comments from Canadians that are in support of him. Like full on, complete support of whatever their great prime minister wants to do.
I'm looking for the Abraham Lincoln, Justin Trudeau metaphors where they're like, sometimes you have to suspend habeas corpus.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That connection's there.
Yo, man, if this is the direction we're going into.
They're the ones who radicalize. They want to accuse their political opponents of being the ones that radicalize people. But that's exactly what they do, because we know they accuse of what they're doing. But, I know a lot of people listen, and it's like, why does this political side always get to do that? Like, they get to accuse their political opponents of doing exactly what they do, but at the same time, like, that's their art. Like, they use all these buzzwords, they slander, they say you're this, they say you're that, and what that does is it radicalizes people to do stuff and take actions. Like when this all first started, you guys remember the viral photo that went out of the guy with a face mask on, literally try to run someone over in the trucker convoy in a Jeep? Turned out to be like an Antifa affiliate or something like that. Like, that's what I'm saying is like this is dangerous. Like when we all talk about like rhetoric and talk about when people are talking about certain things, like there's freedom of speech. We understand that. But they're the ones that use these buzzwords to get people radicalized, where it actually turns into real world violence, and they don't say a word about it. They just let it go by because they're justified. They're justified in their own minds, because if you're a terrorist, then you have every right to protect yourself, because they're going to hurt you and your family somewhere down the line, because they're the scary truckers. They're the ones that radicalize people.
That's what I didn't get is you're supposed to protect other people's rights until they're proven guilty. So why all of a sudden, just because the word terrorist gets involved, do we not protect their rights anymore? I don't like that. That's a new thing as of like 2001.
Yeah, a lot of people pointed out how scary it was. I was listening to Dave Smith on Joe Rogan. Did you guys listen to that one?
Of course.
Dave's great.
Yeah.
He was just he was talking about Brian Stelter, and he was saying that misinformation is dangerous, and putting out a story claiming that certain tragic events didn't happen is dangerous. And then Dave Smith is like, Barack Obama signing the indefinite detention provision and the media not covering it is dangerous.
Yes.
And it's like,
Love
yeah,
him, man. He is
that's true.
He nails it.
On
Laser.
point. Yeah.
laser focused.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this was back, I think, in like 2012. Obama signed into law the National Defense Authorization Act, which included a provision that said the U.S. government can detain you anywhere on the planet without charge or trial. And it should have been the biggest news. The anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian types were all screaming about it. The activists. I made a video about it way back in the day, and Brian Sutter's angry that people are posting nonsense on social media. So that's what you get when from CNN. But look, nobody watches CNN. Their ratings are in the gutter, and this is exactly why. And that's the point Dave was making. He was like, have you ever self-reflected and asked yourself why it is people believe these YouTube videos or believe these conspiracy videos? Why is it they don't trust you anymore? It's because you don't tell the truth. It's because you're not talking about things people care about.
Right.
So you're not interesting. But more importantly, it's because you lie. They lie enough.
And you spend CNN just spends all of their time telling you like why you shouldn't listen to somebody rather than just like telling the truth in and of itself, or even like presenting the truth as like a counter argument to whoever they're trying to debunk. They just like sit there and they tell you who's dumb, who's stupid, you shouldn't listen to, they're right wing, and they're just like not a credible source. It's like, if that's become your news organization, you're no longer a news organization. You just have a very, very strong opinion, which is fine, but don't call yourself a reliable source.
Right.